Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 231 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, aka the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. I ran this afternoon so that I can eat potato chips later tonight. What do you use as motivation when you're exercising, whatever you do for exercise? And if you don't exercise, well, F off. This one's not for you. This one's for the B-Man and for those of us who are trying to keep that heartbeat intact. Whatever, what's it, 70 beats per minute? All right. For me, that's what I do. I think of junk food because usually I'll have Ruffles potato chips at night and I'll hate myself for doing so because it's empty calories and I know I shouldn't be having them. But if I put in exercise during the afternoon, I don't hate myself when I'm putting my hand into the Ruffles bag because I don't pour it into a bowl. I'm an American, a real American. Hand into the bag, and I eat almost a whole family-sized bag in one sitting. It's odd, and I don't know how I feel about it because my motivations have changed. Because when I ran cross country in high school, I was on a cross country team. I wasn't anything special. I wasn't fast at all. I was just using cross country to get in shape for basketball season, to be a JV starter during my senior year of high school. But when I was in high school, I distinctly remember every race we had, I would think of a naked babe at the finish line with big jigglers and an ass just jiggly enough that's perfect for smacking. And I would envision her waiting for me at the finish line. The babe would usually be whoever it is I had a crush on at the time. And you know how it is in high school. You're infatuated with a babe for 3 weeks and then you move on to the next. What a lovely time period of life. But I would always envision that babe waiting for me at the finish line with her legs open, giving up her sniz to the B-Man. But now that I'm an elderly statesman, that's never happened to me. That imaginary babe at the finish line after doing a jog, after running 4 or 5 miles, she's never appeared. She's never offered me up any lovemaking when I'm lathered in sweat and disgusting. And it looks like I pissed myself because I sweat so much that the front of my shorts are all wet. It's never happened. So I can't use the babe as a motivation. Like even the B-Man, that delusional. So I didn't want to go out running today. It's cold. It's in the 40s. I didn't want to go out. I was lethargic. I had fatigue. I just worked a full day. But I thought to myself, if you run, you could have potato chips. So that's what I did. I ran. And after this episode, I'm going to eat some potato chips. So that's where I've transitioned from a naked babe at the finish line to a family-sized bag of Ruffles potato chips. I don't know how I feel about that. What do you use for motivation? I'll tell you something that's always bothered me. It didn't bother me till right now. Someone will tell you if you're eating M&Ms, hey, you know, one M&M, that's what, 100 calories? So you just went running 4 miles, you burned 400 calories. So 4 M&Ms are going to dilute any work you just put in. But my counter to that person, to that argument is, yeah, that's why I ran the 4 miles. So I don't feel guilty when I take my hand in the M&M bowl in the living room and munch on those. Like, that's the only reason why I went running. So don't be telling me M&Ms are empty calories. Like, of course they are. I'm not stupid. I mean, I am, but not that kind of stupid. Moving forward. Here's a proclamation for you, from the B-Man to all of you. We should be tipping our dental hygienists. Now, we've talked a lot about tipping and my beliefs about tipping in America and the positives and negatives of tipping whoever is serving you. Why don't we tip the dental hygienist? I had a dentist appointment, just a cleaning, yesterday morning, and this babe was probably the best. No, not probably. She was the best dental hygienist I've ever had in my entire life. She's probably mid to late 50s. It's weird how the dental hygienist, when you're laying down in that chair, there is an intimacy to you and a dental hygienist. Now, I'm laying there, and she's got her hands all up in my mouth, and I have sunglasses on to protect me from the light, and I'm looking at her as she's doing a wonderful job in my mouth. We'll get to my mouth and how talented and careful she was with me and proficient. That's, I think, what I'm most impressed with is how proficient she was with her work on me. But I'm staring up at her, and I call her a babe because I call all the babes babes, but she's not a babe, right? She's average looking. I wouldn't think anything of her unless, we were less than a foot from each other, staring at each other, right? Like she was in control of my mouth, my health. And, but if we were just walking by, I wouldn't give her a second thought, but I'm looking at her. And I guess you could call her an old hag, right? She's in her late 50s, maybe mid 50s. And I'm looking at her, this old hag, and she's white, relatively skinny, but I'm focusing on the wrinkles on her face. I'm not judging her for having those wrinkles because Father Time is undefeated. But even though she's an old hag, all I could think about is she's got these wrinkles. She's not a real babe, but she looks her age, which is neither positive nor negative. But again, like the B-man, the narcissist I am, I keep thinking about myself. So as I'm looking at her wrinkles, as let's say she's 57, I'm thinking about myself as a 42-year-old, and I'm looking up at her while her hands are all in my mouth. I'm staring at her wrinkles here, and just the faded skin. And well, I'm not that far away from her. I'm 42. She's 57. 15 years. That's not that much of an age gap. Like those wrinkles on her face are inevitably going to be the wrinkles on my face if I live to be that age. And in that moment, I felt sad. There was a sadness that I had that, I'm going to be as wrinkly as this old hag, within due time. Because again, Father Time is undefeated. But again, that sadness was quickly quelled by the amazement of her skill as a dental hygienist. We've all been to it. You get a tooth cleaning or teeth cleaning, and the dental hygienist is she's jabbing away, she's making your gums bleed, and then when they put the toothpaste in your mouth, they put so much toothpaste that it gets stuck on your lips, and it's on your lips for the rest of the morning until you wipe it off. And maybe they give you the mouthwash and they leave the room, but they don't come back for a few minutes. So you're just there with mouthwash. Like, where do I spit this out? I need a little spit container to spit this in. Not with this lady. She was in there with me. She gave me x-rays because I had to get dental x-rays once per year or once every 2 years. So she did the x-rays. The little contraption that my apologies for not knowing all the tools names, but she put it in my mouth and she wasn't fidgeting. Like every time, boom, put it exactly where it needed to be, took the machine, click, and then moved it around, click, click. Each photo or x-ray she took of my mouth did not have to be repeated. I was impressed with how talented she was because I have a narrow mouth. Again, this is why all the gays should be thankful that the B-man's not gay, because I would not be a good dick sucker because my mouth is narrow. So if you have a big cock, big girth, you don't want the B-man's mouth on it because I can't get it on it. But she was, the dental hygienist was commenting on how narrow my mouth is, which I get that every time I go to the dentist. So that was not a surprising commentary on her part. But I was impressed with such a narrow mouth that I have. The contraption is not easy to get in my mouth, but she did so, took the x-rays, and then as she was cleaning my teeth afterwards, She would, with that little ice pick thing. I'm not sure what you call it. You know, the thing where you scrape the tartar. She went from tooth to tooth very quickly, very proficiently, and she didn't have to go back. And then she flossed my teeth. And she didn't have to get a second thing of floss in my teeth that are very tight in the back. So it's not easy to floss the B-Man's teeth, but she did it excellently. And then when she used the toothpaste, the perfect amount. Usually they give me that bubblegum flavor, and it's that you know, like that fake flavoring, that awful taste that's in your mouth after a dentist appointment. But this dental hygienist, see, but just the right amount on each teeth, and also that sucking machine where they water down your mouth and they put that little vacuum in your mouth that close your mouth. She was perfect with that. She knew where the liquids were. There was none was dripping out. And as the cleaning was going along, I was getting fired up. Oh, this bitch knows what she's doing. This girl is this babe, like, she's a professional dental hygienist. She had her way with my mouth, and I was encouraged by the way she handled my mouth. It made me giddy. And I was like, just seeing somebody 7:30 in the morning having her eyes on the objective and just be, 7:30 in the morning. Most people, you're just waking up. Maybe you're working, but you're getting into the routine. You're warming up. This lady was right in there, like it was high noon. And I think her name was Montel or Montol. She had a unique name, especially for a white bitch. But man, each tooth, I was like, wow, this bitch really knows what she's doing. And afterwards, she goes, do you want me to set up an appointment for 6 months for another cleaning? I'm like, of course I do. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm taking my phone out. And in that moment, I had my wallet in my back pocket. And I thought to myself, I should tip her $10. I didn't, because I'm a cheapster. But afterwards, I regretted. In the last 48 hours, it's lingered in my head. I really should have tipped her $10. And it made me think, why don't we tip dental hygienists? I mean, obviously, yeah, the ones who are just hacking away at your gums and putting the toothpaste all over your lips and drying out your lips, you don't tip them. But the dental hygienist I had, if you have a dental hygienist like her, absolutely, that babe deserves a tip. You tip your hairdresser, I assume. I don't know. I don't have hair, right? I don't have hair, so. But how much do you tip your barber, your hairdresser? I don't know, $5, $10. Well, the dental hygienist, that's much more personal, and she's all up in your mouth. All right, you have morning breath, you have coffee breath, you have gingivitis, tartar. It's a disgusting job to have. So if the dental hygienist is willing to work on your teeth and be all up in there with your stanky breath, yeah, you should slip her a 5, slip her a 10 on the way out of the office, slap her on the behind. Good job. See you in 6 months. Really, when you think about it, yeah, the dental hygienist deserves a tip. More than your barista, more than your waiter or your waitress. Yeah, I'm adding dental hygienists onto the list, along with your Amazon, UPS driver, the people who are delivering those packages to your front door. If you're there when they're there, tip that person. Yeah, the Amazon driver, the dental hygienist deserves our money. Deserves a nice 5, a crisp $10 bill. All right, moving along. This comes from a subreddit called Jack Off to Playboy. Sydney Sweeney doing Playboy would probably lead to an economic crash due to everyone staying home and jerking or not being able to fully focus at work. I disrespectfully disagree. That's a double negative. Disrespectfully negative, disagree. negative. So is that a proper sentence? Too negative? You're not allowed to. All right, this is not English class. Sorry to my older sister. Very, very old. I see. I like your giddiness. It's similar to me with a dental hygienist, going from tooth to tooth, kind of getting excited. Wow, I got a real one here. I got a real hygienist who's a real professional. I like how your mind is thinking. I like how you're thinking about jerking off the Playboy. I like that you're thinking about Sydney Sweeney. I like that you're thinking about calling out of work. These are all things that I view as positives. Right? It is anything but a double negative, right? I want everybody to call out of work. I wish I called out of work more often. I never do. I got to start doing that more often. I like that you're thinking about Playboys. I have some vintage Playboys, Playboy, sports cards, gaming cards that I collect, not actual Playboy magazines. Those are very expensive, especially the ones from the 50s and 60s. With all that preamble out of the way, though, I don't think this would be the case. If Sydney Sweeney were to do Playboy and do a naked spread, a centerpiece or centerfold, whatever the fuck they call it, I don't think that'd move the needle. I don't think that would cause any John to call out of work. Now, there'd be a lot of Johns who would jerk off to it. But no one's calling out of work. Nobody's, calling a timeout, taking a PTO day to wank it to Sydney Sweeney for an airbrushed Playboy centerfold. It ain't going to happen. And honestly, I like where your head's at because you're thinking like this is the 1980s, but it is the 21st century. And honestly, I probably shouldn't disclose this, but I will. A couple weeks ago, I had to go through my Reddit, all the Reddits I follow, and I had to unfollow all the not suitable for work subreddits, which was a lot. This took me at least an hour to get through them all. That's how many the B-Mans subscribe to or follow, whatever the terminology is, because every time I open up social media, it's nude. It's tits, it's ass, it's jigglers, there's penetration. My social media is just littered with babes showing their holes open and filled. That's all my social media is. So I'm like, there's just too much of this. So I had to go through and just unsubscribe from each one because I was getting to the point where I can't open up social media in public because there's so much nudity on my feed. And that's where I'm getting at when I'm saying, like there's so much nudity on my phone right now that when I do get a nude photo from a babe I know, it doesn't move the needle. It does nothing for me. Well, thanks for the photo. I'm appreciative of the time and effort you took into taking this photo, especially if it's from a unique angle. I do dig that. And I do dig that you're interested in the B-Man sexually. But I have to let you know that I can't jerk off to this. I can't hawk my dick loogie to your nude. I will. But it's going to take me more effort because there's so many videos online on my social media, just readily available on my smartphone that get one nude photo. Like, who's jerking off to a nude photo in 2026? I'd say maybe 5% of the Johns who jerk off are even capable of jerking off to a nude photo that's not a video. You see where I'm getting at? Like this, to make this full circle. The nude photos, the Playboy magazine, and the Hustler, all those magazines, I love them because I love vintage smut. But even I have to admit, the Playboy magazine, the nude photo that you send to a guy that you're attracted to, it's of a bygone era. similar to the horse and carriage. Like it was nice, it was needed, but society has progressed. All right, and we're all about progression here at Verbal Graffiti. So it's nice to see. But it's not sexual. It's a novelty. Like, oh wow, a Playboy magazine. Let's what was this all about? It's a keep. It's an antique. It's not wanking material. So while I would appreciate Sydney Sweeney doing Playboy, honestly, I don't think there are that many Johns who would jerk off to a Sydney Sweeney Playboy centerfold. I don't even know how many people would buy, how many Johns would even buy the magazine. I'm sure the sales would be higher than just your average Playboy model, showing off her sniz. But there definitely guys wouldn't be calling out of work to look at the magazine. It's just, it's like, she would only be doing it for publicity. I don't really think it would move the needle, the economy anyway. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Donald Trump, for the last, 10, 15 years, has been doing everything within his power to tank the economy. Every crazy tweet, what's that app that he had? Truth Social, whatever. Every comment he makes, he's trying to tank the S&P 500. And every single day, the S&P 500 is in the green. Higher than it's ever been. Real estate, higher than it's ever been. And so if Donald Trump can't tank the economy as of yet, I highly doubt a Sydney Sweeney Playboy cover would make a dent in the economy. All right? This isn't going to be Black Monday or Black Friday where the stock market's going to crater because no one goes into work. It's just like, Anyway, that's not what Sydney Sweeney would do. Right? Celebrities today, it's a leaked sex tape or an OF account. The Playboy cover, again, it's a bygone era. Pamela Anderson, she did that. Carmen Electra, Brooke Burke, I could go on and on. But today, nah. The celebrities ain't going to Playboy to reinvigorate their career or to get more eyes on their career. It's not how it's done. Again, it's of a bygone era. This is 2026. You're going to start an OF account. Like, is Sydney Sweeney getting her holes punctured on an OF account? Well, yeah, that might make the stock market dip a few points. All right, there'll be a lot of people calling out of work. But I highly doubt Sydney Sweeney would do that. I think she's too high stature. And I don't know much about her. To be honest with you, Sydney Sweeney, I look at her, I like her jigglers. I have a good sense of what her areolas look like. I got a pretty good sense that she doesn't have little pencil eraser nipples. I think she has nice circumference of an areola. Just you can kind of tell when a nipple pokes through her thin t-shirts and tops. But is this how normies think? Because anytime I hear a normie getting all goo gaga about a female celebrity potentially being naked in a movie or some type of TV show, the smut brain that I have, there are so many more hotter porn stars and ladies, who are showing their holes on the internet that are so much better looking than Sydney Sweeney or any other female celebrity. Because you can't be a female celebrity if you're super duper hot. That's kind of, you have to have really good skin, but not be hot enough where other babes find you intimidating. That's the key to being a Scarlet in Hollywood, is you want to be attractive but not hot. There's the same girl from Friends. What the fuck is that girl's name? The main girl in the 90s, everyone was goo goo gaga. She's average. She's hot, but there's so many hotter porn stars than her. She's girl next door good looking. Sydney Sweeney, she's a little bit more bodacious because, she's top heavy. But again, if I saw her naked, I go, oh, I mean, come on. Haley Rose, Ella Knox, Violet Myers. There's so many other Lulu Chu. I could go on and on. Kendra Spade. There's so many porn stars that I put above Sydney Sweeney that her being a Playboy or any kind of nudity, they'd be okay. I might jerk it to this, but it's not gonna be a hawking Dick Loogie appointment. Just if I'm in the mood, I'll do it to her. But I'm not gonna go at I'm not gonna clear my calendar late on a Friday evening to hawk my Dick Loogie to her nudity. Again, porn. I feel sorry for the normies out there who are craving the nudity of Sydney Sweeney. It's like, come on. There are so many hotter babes that are showing their naked bodies online. Like I pity your PG-13 normie brain. Because the B-man, I respect my Dick Loogie. Let's go look at something. Please remember to like and subscribe and do all that jazz for this channel, our project, Verbal Graffiti. We just lost a subscriber, fallen soldier, and we're leaving him behind. We're not the U.S. Marines. We went from having 71 subscribers, and this is episode 231, down to 70 subscribers. So we lost one. And if I find out who that is, whoever that YouTuber who unsubscribed from us here at Verbal Graffiti, if I find you and you make yourself known, I'm going to take your head and dip it in boiling water until your skin falls off. And that's not a threat, that's a promise. You don't unsubscribe from Verbal Graffiti. But if you do, there's nothing I'm going to do. I say I'm going to torture you in boiling water, but, man. I don't know. That's what I want to do to the person that unsubscribed. And I would really like to get to 100 subscribers before episode 250. So come on, help the B-man out. Help this project, Verbal Graffiti, get off the ground. Come on, we want to get monetized here. But again, if you don't want to subscribe, you're your own person. Right? You have autonomy over your body and what decisions you make. So there's no pressure, but we would like a like and a subscribe, and maybe even a comment. I ran into a situation a couple weeks ago. I asked a babe that I know how she learned to suck dick. I asked her that. I posed the question, how did you learn how to suck dick? Break that down for me. Paint a picture. Who was involved? Was it your mom, your aunt, a friend of your girlfriend at school, teacher? Who was it? What did you practice on? I wanted all the details because I'm a nosy little fuck like that. But the babe misconstrued what I was trying to say. In all honesty, that's all I really wanted to know was how she learned to suck dick. But this babe, I think she thought that I was asking her about sucking dick in the hopes that she would suck Mr. Perfect, which is my dick. But that's not the case. I'm a weird, pervy guy. I like to know people's intimate details. Their hidden secrets. That's what I want to know. So I was genuinely intrigued about learning how this babe learned to suck dick. But then I think she got upset with me because I think she thought I was looked at her as just some dumb floozy that would suck me off in the parking lot. But that's not the case. No, I understand. They looking back on the situation, and because I have a lot of awkward conversations like this, so it's pretty often that a day or two later, I'll look back on the conversation I had and go, oh, wait, like she or he, whatever the conversation was about, and however the person portrayed it is probably, that person was probably correct to portray it however they did, because a normal person does not ask how you learn to suck dick, right? Especially if you're of the opposite sex and you're having that conversation and they just outright ask you. So she's not wrong to think that I was thinking about having her suck my dick or wanting that to happen. But that's not what I was just kind of curious. Curious George. That's who the B-man is. So I get it. And now she doesn't really want to be around me, but I get it. I get her point of view. But don't you ever think that? Don't you ever look at somebody like, even if she's never sucked your dick, don't you ever think, how did you learn how to do what you do sexually? Who, what, where, when, why, how? Isn't that what they teach you in journalism class? All right, moving forward. This next one comes from the subreddit Marriage. Know nothing about that. Chaturbate charges. Interesting. My husband has been paying for cam girls online through this website called Chaturbate. I've heard of it. He spends minimum of $1,000 per month. When he gets upset and we argue, he'll leave. This happens either once or twice a month. I've tried to leave him several times because it breaks my heart and it's just not right. But we have a 4-year-old together and it breaks my heart. Understood. He's a great man otherwise. I'm not afraid to leave for financial reasons because I am well off on my own. I have a good job, but we just have so much fun together and I do love him so much. Every time this happens, he apologizes. It says he's going to get help. I had gotten an apartment, but never fully moved into the apartment. And since he's going to seek professional help for his addictions, he also does cocaine when he leaves and gets online. Let me repeat that. He also does cocaine when he leaves and gets online. I'm going to cancel my lease and try to move forward with him. If anybody has gone through this and your husband has changed, let me know or let me know how you dealt with this situation. Until you mentioned the cocaine, I was honestly going to argue to stay with your husband for the sake of the marriage and the family and the 4-year-old you have together. But as soon as you mentioned that your loving husband jerks off the cam girls while doing cocaine, you got to move out. You got to move out into that apartment, sign a 12-month lease, take the daughter or the son, the 4-year-old, and you got to move away from this guy, this husband of yours. I know he's a loving husband. I know he's clearly he's a fun guy. Like any guy who's spending thousands of dollars a month on Chaturbate while also doing cocaine, that's a fun guy. Say what you want about his addictions, and there's a lot to be said. You cannot say this guy does not like to indulge in some libations, some fun, and get a little freaky. Like, you know how to choose them. And a tip of my penis to you, the wife. So many times here at Verbal Graffiti, I'll read a post about a babe complaining about her husband, about how he's cheap, he never likes to go on vacation, he never takes me out anywhere, he's so boring, he gives me the ick, he never indulges in stimulating conversation with me. This is not your husband. Your husband is a ball of fun. He's a coked up, modern day Wolf on Wall Street character. What was that guy's name? Belfort? John Belfort? That's who your husband is. So you know how to pick fun guys. So a tip of my penis for me to you for knowing how to pick them. But again, just because your husband's fun does not mean you should stay married to him. I'm interested in why he's spending so. I get it. I get it. See, I've dipped my penis into the Chaturbate website or cam site, whatever you call it, but I've never paid any of the babes money. So I understand, hey, if you're a guy and you pay the money to the babes, it's probably a lot more entertaining, right? You get a private show and the babes will do what you ask them to do over the message board. But I just got, from my perspective, from a guy who does not pay the cam girls, but sometimes will watch them, there's nothing sexual about it. Certainly not enough for me to spend thousands of dollars a month on these cam girls or the Chaturbate girls. Because whenever I've watched it, there's nothing romantic about it. I might have mentioned this before, but when I watch Chaturbate, it's just a babe and she's doing whatever to herself. Maybe she's fiddling herself, or she's got another John there who's fucking her, or, they're doing a fuck scene on camera. But the babe is never focused on the sexual act itself. At least the times I've been watching Chaturbate. Every time I click on a live video, it's a babe fiddling herself, or she's getting fucked from behind, or she's doing cowgirl. She'll have the keyboard, and she'll be typing to the Johns who are messaging her. So she's focusing more on the Johns and what they're saying to her and what requests they're making for the internet coins they're giving her. So she's focusing more on extracting money from the Johns than she is the sexual act she's currently engaging in. And what you'll never see in Chaturbate is eye contact between the babe and the male supporting actor. The only time they make eye contact is when it's, hey, we need to change positions. We just got a $20 tip. There's no romance. It's a transaction. There's three transactions. There's the babe, the transaction from the male actor, boyfriend, whomever, and then there's the Johns giving the babe money. But none of them are really actually interacting in the moment. There's just nothing, at least to the B man. Like, I'm a romantic. I like eye contact. I like realness. Whenever I've watched Chaturbate or any cam girl, I haven't found it stimulating. So it ain't for me. But again, I'm not paying thousands of dollars. If I was paying thousands of dollars per month, and I actually, maybe I would form relationships, over the internet with these cam girls, and maybe that would be, I would find something about that stimulating. So, but that's out of pocket. I can't speak to that. Only your husband can. So I'm not going to judge him. But I just know, rehab's not going to help this guy. Like, a guy who's spending $1,000 a month on Chaturbate while doing cocaine alone, that rehab doesn't fix that. He's got to figure that out himself. And the longer you enable him, the longer it's going to take him to figure it out. So you got to leave. And to your 4-year-old, I don't know, but I kind of know that when a guy's spending $1,000 a month on Chaturbate while doing cocaine alone, that's not going to be a guy who's involved in your daughter's life. So there's a good chance your 4-year-old is going to grow up to be one of those Chaturbate babes, or whatever the equivalent of that is 20 years from now. So, life's going to come full circle. But you got to leave your husband. Hey, you know how to pick fun guys, and you work in an industry, apparently, where you do fine for yourself financially. So finding another fun guy who makes money, I don't think that will be too difficult for you. So, yeah. Leave the husband. Let him be. Let him have his Chaturbate and his cocaine in solace, and it's time for you to move on and into that apartment. So to you, your husband, and everybody else, go suck a fat one.